Good morning, everyone. This is Andrea Proeber with Great Expectations Realty, and my guest today is John Dreggors, also with Great Expectations Realty. He is a longtime resident of Ocala, and we are going to be talking about for sale by owners. There seems to be a lot of them out there right now, right?
There are.
All right. Well, welcome, John, to the program. Can you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself, how to get in touch with you, and also, of course, your name?
Okay, my name is John Dreggors. How you can get in touch with me is 352-572-5565. I lived in Marion County for since 93.
Okay.
Almost
Quite a while.
My life, it seems like. Raised all my kids here. Know the area really well.
Okay.
I'm originally from Miami.
And you, of course, know the absolute best fishing spots in Florida because you are a really big, boat enthusiast, right?
I am a captain.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yes, I've worked the waterways pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep seeing these pictures of, on the social media and stuff with these big, huge, massive fish and stuff. And I'm like, well, he does not have just some kind of fish story. He actually has the fish. And
that's the best way.
Yeah.
Take a picture so you can prove what you caught.
Just in case nobody believes you.
Right.
Okay. So you've lived here since 93. And your kids went to school here and they were raised here. How many kids you got?
I have 3.
Yeah, they're all adults now, right?
They are all adults.
Yeah. Do they stay local or did they move off and move all over the United States?
They are local.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I have huge expectations that my kids will probably not do that, but they seem to think of Ocala as, a really small town, and they want to see the big cities and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, you don't even know what you have. So I think that's true of a lot of kids that grew up here is they just don't know how special Ocala really is.
Yeah,
honestly.
this area is really nice.
It really is. So, all right. So we are going to talk about for sale by owners. There's a lot of for sale by owners out in the marketplace, and you're always talking to them and going out and meeting them and chit chatting and stuff. So is that something that you've seen a lot of right now?
I have seen a lot of for sale by owners, and
why do you think that is? Right, that it's happening more now.
Because the market was real hot, and they felt that they could put their house on the market and profit really well on it.
Right. Do you think that's, I could definitely see, I'm kind of a do-it-yourselfer. I enjoy doing things on my own if I can do it myself. So, I can definitely understand why somebody would want to, to try and do that. But I know that you had spoken to one recently, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up today. Is you were speaking to one lady, and she was what did she say? She knew everything. What did she say?
she actually said that she was better than any realtor. She could do it better.
Yeah.
And she was her price was a lot less than what the market should have sold for.
Like how much less?
Well, she was actually probably $35,000 less than what that's what she had it marked at.
A lot of people are getting their information off of websites like Zillow, but I've noticed Zillow is really off lately.
Very inaccurate.
Yeah, really, really very off. I saw one house yesterday. A buyer wanted to make an offer. And he said, well, Zillow is saying it's worth $153,000, and it was going up for sale for $184,000, and it was off market. So sometimes we see things that they don't necessarily want to put it up for sale. So we were able to get them a deal before it even hit the market, really. But it could easily sell if it were to go on to MLS for $220,000, $230,000. And but to have Zillow actually say $150,000, I would hope that sellers aren't looking just at that, because it's just comparing with what has happened. It doesn't really keep up to the escalating market price.
Right. And what I'm seeing is that too many people are worrying about paying a realtor's percentage of the sale, and not thinking of the big picture of what that realtor can do for them. And they're actually losing money by worrying about paying that little bit of percentage. It's not, they're not really doing justice for themselves trying to
Well,
act
yeah,
like
I mean, it's
the
not like you would
realtor.
have gotten $35,000 for that commission.
No, not at all. And actually,
Would be nice.
she actually, the house actually sold for a lot less than what she had it listed for.
Really?
Right.
So those negotiation skills maybe might not have been doing her justice. But that was just one that you've recently spoken to. And you really are very good at speaking with people that are putting their house up for sale, because you've got a lot of sales training in your background. So I know you go when you see stuff like that, you're just like, really? I know it drives you nuts because you come in and tell me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, everybody needs a middleman or a middlewoman, however you want to call it, and
But they don't think they do.
they don't think they do, but in actuality, that person can negotiate a lot better for you, and you're not really thinking, oh, okay, let me just grab this money real fast, and you're actually losing. And you're not thinking about it like that.
Right. And I mean, that's, that even above, a medical doctor, salespeople make the most money in a worldwide average. Now, of course, they've got, the realtors and stuff in there, but there's salespeople in many, 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 many different fields. So it's not just items that are sold, but it's also, for large corporations, they see the value of having a salesperson to negotiate on their behalf, and they pay them accordingly. Some are not on a commission basis, but actually on a salary basis, and they keep them on salary because it really does do their company a lot of good to have that. But we were actually talking about, of course, we were going to, share with people that, the value of a salesperson, but that's basically tooting our own horn. So it's not really going to help people out. And if they're pretty set in their way, like, that one lady was, there's no way you're going to convince them otherwise. I mean, unless you're a really amazing salesperson, but.
Right. And another thing that what we can do for you is we stop all the tire kickers, door kickers, however you consider, and you're able to know who's actually coming into your home, know that this is going to be a deal. It's not just somebody wanting to have a day out and enjoy just looking through people's houses and not being a buyer.
Right.
Or
right, because we screen for people that are ready, willing, and able to purchase the home, and the able is the severe part. A lot of people don't realize how incredibly dangerous real estate and being a realtor really is. There's you could go on YouTube or Google and you can see how many are killed annually, because essentially our job description is showing vacant houses to strangers off the internet anymore. Which,
right.
You're a big guy, so you probably, you're not quite as worried about it as, maybe me, but at the same time, a gun can do damage to anybody of any size. So we're always talking about safety concerns and everything, even as experienced realtors. But what about somebody that's, they've got a sign in their yard that's basically inviting anybody in off the street to come and view their home? Okay, so a lot of people that are doing the for sale by owner, they don't tend to realize that there's actually 2 realtors normally involved in a transaction, at least. Normally, sometimes even 3. So what I try and express to people is, because you work with for sale by owners even as a buyer's agent, right? Right. There's a simple form they fill out, and it's a agreement to compensate for that portion of the deal. But to kind of go over how it actually works, here locally anyway, is that in a normal transaction that goes into MLS, the seller agrees to pay a realtor a certain amount of money, or a sales agent a certain amount of money, a percentage. If that sales agent does not sell the house for the terms that they want, they get nothing. So they have to sell the house. And then they get a percentage of the sale. So it's, of course, in their best interest to go ahead and get the most money possible, because then we get more money that way. So everybody's happy. But what happens is we then put that listing into the multiple listing service, or the MLS. When we do that, we have to offer compensation. It doesn't matter what the compensation is. That's worked out actually in the contract as well, of how much you're going to offer. Often a realtor will offer half of their compensation. It will actually be, let's say, if I go ahead and take a contract or a listing, I will put it into the MLS, and I offer any realtor that brings me a buyer that is ready, willing, and able to purchase a home, they're going to receive half of my commission. So what happens is a for sale by owner can, and most often does, go ahead and put their house, a sign out front, but then they will still have agents or realtors bring a buyer to them, and they just pay the other half. So they basically save, it's 50% off that way, basically. So, or whatever that agent wants to do. And the seller agrees. So they negotiate those terms amongst themselves. There's no set percentage. You can pay whatever you both agree to do the work for, or they agree to do. The same as, any other job. Let's say a car mechanic. Okay, you're going to do this is what needs to be done. Here's how much I'm going to compensate you. Will you do the work for X amount? Yes, no, okay. But when you're a for sale by owner, so many of them think that they're doing the entire job. They're doing all of the advertising and marketing and screening and all of that for the buyers, and then they're also working with the buyer to get them through to closing. Whereas really, the listing agent is only doing half of that job, and then the buyer's agent comes in and does the other half. Once in a while, yes, you do go ahead and do both sides of the transaction as a realtor, but generally speaking, it's a cooperation. So there has to be a compensation of cooperation. So I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies, is a lot of for sale by owners are like, no, I'm not going to work with a realtor at all. But then that means they have to do the pre-qualification, the pre-approval letters they have to do all of that. And they have to do the advertising and all of that fun stuff. And then they also have to get the contract, and they have to work with the buyer to get to closing, make sure all of the stuff has been done in a timely manner to get to the closing table, which is why a large percentage of for sale by owner transactions, it takes several deals and several customers before it actually gets to closing, because a lot of those things kind of fall through the cracks, and the buyer, through not knowing the process or whatever, may go into default. Sometimes the seller goes into default, because again, that's those timelines and practices. There's a lot of timelines involved. So anyway, what advice would you give? Let's say your mother lives out of state. I know she doesn't, she's local, but let's say your mother was living alone and she lived out of state, and she said she wanted to do for sale by owner. She needed to get the most money possible for her home. What advice would you give to her?
My advice would be, don't do it. Get somebody that's in the business that can help you. But if she's really persistent about that she wants to do it on her own and she can do it, then I would say that you need to screen the people that are wanting to come in and look at the house by make sure that they have the pre-approval letters of their funds, driver's license, copies of all that, so that you know who you're actually working with before they surprise you and come into your home and you have a nightmare on your hands.
Right. I mean, even us as realtors, I think a lot of people don't realize that we do actually get, pictures of driver's license or of license plates or something like that. There are small things that we do for our safety and for the safety of our buyers and sellers. But, it's not, we try to be discreet with it. But there's training, there's self-defense training that realtors get normally for free at the realtors convention or local associations. So yeah, I think that's a huge key thing, is just getting that information ahead of time. Having multiple people at the home Of course, it's kind of, you gotta, you gotta kind of be careful because you don't want, the buyer coming in to walk around and look at the home and feel like it's something they could purchase and feel at home in, and then there's 6 people staring at them. So there has to be kind of some leeway between safety and security and psychosis. But
Yeah, I would, have at least one person there.
at least
At least one.
with you.
Right.
Okay, so at least
If
yeah.
she's there alone, just bring in one person.
Yeah, and that's the advice you would tell your hypothetical mother that lives out
Right.
of state, right?
Right.
Okay, so I mean that makes sense. I have at times felt uncomfortable doing showings. I just got a weird feeling, and I will literally just stay on the phone, which is rude, but better to be rude than be dead. So I'll stay on the phone and just say, I have a really important phone call to make. Go ahead and look around as I stay on the phone. And my husband knows if we use a few code words. So, he knows, and we have trackers on our phone and stuff like that. It's just crazy the amount of safety that we have to do on a daily basis. And then, a for sale by owner, they don't know any of this stuff and they're just inviting people in. It's very scary.
I think once a person that lists their property, or say you're going to list a car, and you start seeing the nightmares of all the texting coming through and all these calls coming through, and they're just going, oh, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, and it's just a pipe dream. um, you're just how can I say it, you're wasting your time.
Right. So how, as a listing agent, as you are, how is it that you actually screen those out? I mean, is there anything that you do that will kind of lower the amount of people that will come, the tire kickers, as you were?
Yeah. So basically, when we have somebody call us about a property, we're actually finding out what they do for a living, what they can actually afford. Then we put them with a lender that can pre-approve them. That's going to let us know that we can even work with them. At the end of the day, we're not going to waste a person that's selling their home. We're not going to waste their time by bringing somebody that's not able to purchase it.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of complaints about that, where it's like, oh, we'll ask for, a pre-approval or a proof of funds or a pre-qualification letter at least. And, just say, we would like to have that before we go in and show you homes. And they're like, oh, well, I just want to go and look at the house. I just want to go and look at the house. Well, yeah, but it's somebody else's house. They're allowing you into their home where their children are, where their possessions are. And so to not even go so far as to get a pre-qualification letter, which is, it takes a few minutes online, you can get one of those. That's at least the bare minimum. So if we have a buyer that's not even wanting to do the bare minimum, and that will go open the door for me, it's very disrespectful for the sellers, and it's disrespectful of our time as well. So yeah, I know it kind of sounds snooty, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not wasting the seller's time, and even the buyers. I mean, they want to purchase a home, and what they think they can afford is not necessarily what they're looking at. So they're going to be disappointed over and over again. It's like if you go in and you want to buy a Lamborghini, but you've got, a Prius budget. I say that because I just got a Prius, but I would like to have a Lamborghini. It's not going to happen, but it's just, you have to be very realistic with that. And if I'm going over and looking at these very fancy sports cars that are 80, 100,000 or more, I'm not going to be happy with what I can afford, which I am very happy with my Prius. Just saying that, you guys know that. I'm raving about it. I love it. But at the same time, it's not a high-end sports car. And if that's what I'm shopping for, or that's what I think I have in my budget, I'm going to be disappointed. And we don't want the buyers to be disappointed. We want them thrilled with the home that they have. So, I mean, wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. But like I said, what I see is, like, the for sale by owners are so worried about paying that commission, and they're losing that thought of, or
Yeah, they're losing sight of the big
sight
picture.
of that big picture of selling it and moving on, and they're still going to make plenty of money. They'll make way more money than selling it themselves.
Well, as was shown in that just recently. And that's not the only one. I mean, you call actually anybody that he calls, if he's calling you, it's because he's already done the research and he's realized that you are underpricing your home. So if you get a phone call from John Dreggors, if his number pulls up, what's your phone number again?
352-572-5565.
Okay, so if you see that number come up and he's calling you, he's already looked at the comps, he's already looked at the prices that you've listed the home for, and he's already realized that you're tens of thousands of dollars under market, and he can actually help you. Do you normally call homes that are at list price or above, if they've overpriced the home? Is that one that you normally would call?
I would just call. I would call them and see if I can help them, and I would look and see where they're at, and I would try to help them fix what they kind of screwed up. I've seen some for sale by owners that I've called 3 months ago, actually went and knocked on their doors and talked to them, and they're still up for sale. And those houses should have sold by now because they're just way overpriced.
So it's just touching base with them basically. I'm like, okay, are we going to be a little more realistic here? Yeah. And again, you might have a buyer or something that wants to purchase the house at a lower rate. So keeping in touch with them and keeping the door open is a good thought for future. Have you had any resistance to, when you're speaking with these for sale by owners, if you actually have a buyer that's ready, willing, and able to purchase the home, do they, ever tell you they don't want to work with you at all? Or is it mostly, yeah, sure, bring the buyer?
They're like, yeah, sure, bring the buyer. Some of them are, when I suggest, well, let me have you sign this paper stating that you're willing to, the agreement to work, so I can work with you and my buyer can work with you. They get a little off that they don't really want to do it, but in actuality, it's doing them no service. By it all boils back down to the percentage. They don't even want to, it seems like sometimes, pay that 1%, 2%. They feel like they're losing that money, but at the end of the day, they keep paying their mortgages, their taxes, and they're losing.
Yeah.
They just keep losing.
What are things that you can do as a realtor? What are things that you've offered to do for free? And I know the list is extensive because he's like, let me just help you with this. But
so I've said that I would come in and help clean up, kind of beautify the property. If it needs pressure washed, something needs to be weeded. If you need some stuff hauled away, I have a lot of commercial equipment that could do that. Not that I'm in the business to be the cleanup man, but at the end of the day, if I can help you get your house sold, and all it takes is washing your driveways or giving your house a nice pressure wash. So, we also offer professional pictures. We do drone pictures.
So even if they're a for sale by owner, you'll still go in and do videos on YouTube?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay, well, what about the cleanup and the professional pictures? Because that's going to be more of your time and money involved with that.
Yeah, if as far as with any of that, you'd have to list with me.
You're not going to go out and do that for free.
No, you're going to have to list with me.
Okay, but you'd be willing to do videos on YouTube?
Yeah, most definitely. I would do videos. Andrea here is big on videos, so open houses.
You'd even do an open house for somebody that's for sale by owner?
Yeah, definitely. Bring out the balloons.
Yeah.
We'll bring out plenty of signs. We're gonna make it hey, this house is for sale. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
So as far as doing the open houses, I like to do a lot of open houses for sale by owners.
Really?
Yeah, that just shows them that I'm out there doing it. I'm trying to help make the money to work. I'm not gonna just put it on MLS and hope for the best.
Oh, so it shows that you're a really hard worker. That
Right.
makes sense.
And also, if we're going to get probably 10, 20, 30, hopefully 50 people coming through that house. And there will be probably some people that are there that are going to be for sale by owners coming through looking, and they're going to say, you know what, this guy is doing a good job. Let me hire him. And
there's, the buyers. I mean, if there's 40 or 50 different buyers coming through, there's only one house.
right.
So there's only going to be one person that can actually purchase the home. So what about all of those other buyers?
They're going to be buyers to show them other houses around the area.
Right. So you're actually going to go out and work with those other buyers.
Right.
I see this. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
That's the plan.
Okay. So you're basically, it's a win-win basically. The buyer, the buyer gets the house and the for sale by owner gets the buyer, but at the same time you have all of these other customers now. Not only other people that are thinking to list their house and they see how hard you're working, but also the buyers, probably if they're at an open house, don't have a realtor. So they're going to be working with you. That's awesome.
Yeah. I've seen or talked to for sale by owners that are, I've already had several different realtors come here and they're wanting this listing so bad.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do better than them?
Put up or shut up.
Yeah. And it's I do a lot.
Well, I think really, actually doing the work and showing them how much of a hard worker you are really sets you apart. I'm sure you get a lot of people talking about it. I know you have an open house actually coming up pretty soon that you're actually the listing agent for. So, without giving the address, because we can't give that out yet, but what can you tell us about the house and what area it's in?
Well, it's going to be in the Summerfield area. It's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2-car garage on a beautiful corner lot. It's going to have a brand new roof.
Yeah, that's what we're working on right now.
Don't have to worry about the roof nightmares that are happening on these houses these days.
Yeah, all the insurance companies want brand new roofs or they won't write a policy. It's driving us nuts.
And it's also going to be not far from the villages. So that's if you're awesome. A village goer,
and stop in.
You could ride right over there in second flat.
Absolutely. So you're obviously going to be doing lots of open houses on that. So they'll be seeing on 42 lots of signs for open houses.
Yes, most definitely. We're going to be doing a lot of open houses.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so if anybody is thinking of selling a home and they are interested in talking to you just about what you can do and what you are willing to do, whether you're listing it or not, how do people get a hold of you, John?
It's 352-572-5565 or johnsells2you@gmail.com.
Okay.
Or come see me at Great Expectations Realty.
And you can definitely check out our website, GreatExpectationsRealty.com. And John has his email and his contact information on there as well. But he is definitely one of the best listing agents I have seen in a long time. So you will not regret talking to him. And you answer questions for free, right?
Most definitely.
All right, awesome.
If you need somebody to text or talk to, just
you're the man.
Shoot me a text. I'll answer it. If I'm awake, I'm answering it.
Okay, awesome.